Trump in major trouble. Elites after him? For years, Donald Trump has said the political establishment has been trying to stop him. Now, his supporters believe the pressure is only getting stronger, from legal battles to investigations to growing criticism from some of the country's most influential figures. The question is becoming impossible to ignore. Is Trump simply facing the consequences of unprecedented political scrutiny, or is there a coordinated effort by powerful institutions and elites to bring him down? The truth is far more complicated than the headlines suggest. So let's separate the verified facts from the political rhetoric and break down why this latest chapter has everyone asking the same question. Is Trump really in major trouble? Or is this another battle in a much bigger political war? Donald Trump has never been a stranger to controversy. But this time, the conversation isn't just about one lawsuit or one political rival. It's about whether some of the country's most powerful institutions are all closing in at once. Over the past several months, Trump has found himself facing legal challenges, renewed investigations, criticism from political opponents, and intense scrutiny from parts of the media, all while continuing to campaign and maintain significant influence within the Republican Party. Now, his supporters see a pattern. They argue these aren't isolated events. They're part of a much bigger effort to weaken him politically. His critics see something entirely different. They argue that no public official, including a former or current president, is above the law, and that investigations should simply follow the evidence wherever it leads. That's the divide, and it's one that's shaping almost every political conversation in America today. Take a step back for a second, because regardless of which side someone supports, there's one thing that's hard to ignore. Trump attracts an extraordinary amount of attention. Every court filing, every campaign speech, every social media post, and every public appearance immediately becomes national news. Few political figures generate that kind of reaction. In fact, political analysts have pointed out that Trump's influence inside the Republican Party has remained remarkably strong, even during periods when his approval among the broader public has been more mixed. That creates an unusual situation. Legally, he's dealing with multiple challenges. Politically, he's still one of the most influential figures in American politics, and that's why every new development feels so significant. Because people aren't just asking what happens in court, they're also asking, what does this mean for the next election? Then there's another layer to the story. Trump himself has repeatedly argued that he's being targeted by what he often describes as the political establishment or the deep state. Those claims have become a central part of his public messaging. Supporters often point to the timing of investigations and legal actions as evidence that powerful people are trying to stop him. Critics reject that argument completely. They say the legal system has an obligation to investigate allegations when evidence warrants it, regardless of who the subject is. Those are two fundamentally different interpretations of the same events. And that's why the debate has become so polarizing. It's no longer just about one investigation. It's about trust. Trust in the courts, trust in government institutions, trust in prosecutors, and trust in the political system itself. That's also why words like elites have become so common in political discussions, depending on who you ask. That term can mean influential politicians, major donors, powerful media organizations, business leaders, or simply long-established institutions. It's a broad political label, not a legally defined group. And that's important to remember, because while many commentators use the word, there's no verified evidence of a single coordinated group of elites acting together against Trump as a matter of established fact. What is real is that Trump faces opposition from many different individuals and institutions for different reasons. Some oppose his policies, some oppose his rhetoric, some oppose his legal positions. Others remain among his strongest supporters. And that's what makes this story far more complicated than a simple headline. Whether someone views Trump as a victim of political targeting or as a politician facing the normal consequences of legal scrutiny often depends on how they interpret the same set of facts. And with every new court hearing, every campaign rally, and every political statement, that debate only grows louder. But believe it or not, the legal battles themselves may not be the biggest challenge Trump is facing, because the political consequences could ultimately matter even more. Whether you support Donald Trump or strongly disagree with him, there's one thing that's almost impossible to argue against. He's changed American politics. Very few political figures can dominate headlines, influence financial markets, shape campaign conversations, and spark national debate with a single speech or even a single social media post. That's the kind of influence Trump still has. and it's exactly why every legal development receives so much attention. But here's something worth thinking about. The courtroom and the court of public opinion are two completely different places. A legal case is decided by evidence, judges, juries, and the law. Public opinion is shaped by headlines, television, podcasts, social media, and millions of people interpreting the same events in completely different ways. Sometimes, those two worlds overlap sometimes. They couldn't be further apart. That's what makes this moment so unusual. While legal proceedings continue, the political campaign never really stops. Every hearing, every filing, every interview, and every public appearance immediately becomes part of the larger political conversation. Supporters often see resilience, critics often see accountability, and millions of Americans see something in between. It's also important to remember, American history has never really seen another situation quite like this. A political figure with Trump's level of influence facing multiple legal challenges while remaining one of the most recognizable and powerful voices in national politics is something without much historical precedent. That's one reason analysts across the political spectrum continue watching every development so closely, because nobody knows exactly how it all ends. Could these legal battles damage Trump's political future? Possibly. Could they energize his supporters even more? That's also possible. History has shown that political pressure doesn't always weaken a candidate. Sometimes it has the opposite effect, and that's why predictions can be risky. Politics changes quickly. One court decision, one major policy announcement, one economic shift, or one unexpected event can completely change the national conversation overnight. That's why separating facts from opinions matters more than ever. Verified court filings, official statements, and documented evidence provide one part of the picture. Political speeches, campaign messaging, and media commentary provide another. Understanding the difference between those sources is essential if you want to understand what's actually happening. As this story continues to unfold, new hearings will take place, new arguments will be made, and new political reactions will undoubtedly follow. Some developments may favor Trump, others may not. But until those events actually happen, they're impossible to predict with certainty. One thing, however, seems clear. This isn't just a story about one politician. It's also a story about how Americans view their institutions, how much they trust the legal system, and how deeply divided public opinion has become. Those questions may outlast any individual court case, and they could shape American politics for years to come. Now we'd like to hear from you. Do you think the intense scrutiny surrounding Donald Trump is simply part of holding powerful leaders accountable? Or do you believe the political climate has made every development surrounding him even more controversial? Share your perspective in the comments, but keep the discussion respectful. Some of the best conversations happen when people disagree, without attacking one another. And if you enjoy balanced breakdowns that separate verified facts from political noise, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us for the next major story. Because when the next headline drops, we'll break down what happened, what's confirmed, and why it actually matters.